Hello and welcome to Courageous Doctors, the new show for you and your doctor. On this show, we're going to cover Obamacare updates, other healthcare news, and health and safety tips. Now let's begin. The Star-Ledger tells us that New Jersey passes a bill limiting the use of the emergency room for minor illness, and they're doing this by trying to cap charges at $140. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to be contested in court, and I'm not really even too clear. This is all very new, how this is going to work out. We've had, many things that people have tried to do to form a medical home. They'd rather people come and see me in my office than go at night and make the emergency room so busy. Some doctors like myself take our own phone calls at night so we can talk to patients and try to keep them out of ERs. And of course, there's a lot of late night urgent centers set up. So I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. I'm not sure how the government can tell the emergency rooms what to do. But anyway, it'll be interesting, and we'll keep you up to date on that. The New York Times says that the court has struck down Kentucky's law requiring those on Medicaid to work. This has been a huge thing. As you know, President Trump has been fostering all over the country through his cabinets that people that are going to get Medicaid should really be out working, and he's encouraging states to go ahead with this. Now, in spite of a court actually knocking this down in Kentucky, the president has come out and said that his departments will still encourage any state that wants to mandate working if you're going to be on Medicaid. Honestly, I think that the court was right, and you shouldn't really combine people's health care with work. We tried this experiment with welfare decades ago, and I'm not really sure how well that worked out, but you certainly don't want to mess up people's health care. To me, what's more important is people that are working should have a good family leave. And I'm very happy that the president's daughter, Ivanka, is wonderful. She's really pushing for this, to have a good paid family leave that's equal to Europe, where you can really stay at home and take care of a loved one, or even if you have to go out and get education to get another job, whatever you're using it for. And paid sick leave, which is in a few cities in New Jersey, but really needs to be more in the state, because it's unfair for people to be penalized that they're afraid to take off from work and come and see me in the office, and they have to wait and maybe either not go anywhere or go late night to the ER and stay up all night. If you had paid sick leave, you have a lot less people going to the emergency room at night. To me, that makes a lot more sense, as we were talking before. But anyway, to get back to this having to tie in working to Medicaid, we'll see how all this plays out, but at least in Kentucky, that was knocked down. Now, it's really interesting that the Southern Poverty Law Center made a very astute acknowledgement that 2 out of 3 of the Medicaid recipients in Kentucky are children. So, they're not going to work. They're blind, or they have other disabilities, and most of the rest of the third are working anyway. So why did Kentucky even need to make the law? So, all right, let's move on. USA Today, another court case. The Supreme Court has struck down a law requiring crisis pregnancy centers to inform the women on state-offered abortion. This has been a big thing. Obviously, the Republicans don't want any money going towards abortion. And now you don't even have to inform somebody that these state services are available for abortion, and also that was a big case. Let's see. Washington Post says that the CMS, which is the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, these are that's the government's payout for Medicaid and Medicare. And this is very interesting, and it's a little complicated, so bear with me. They're no longer paying back insurance companies from an insurance pool in which all companies that were on the exchanges every year would put in money, in other words, not from the government, from the insurance companies themselves. In case one company unfairly had too many sick patients, the government then would be the one to divvy up this money and make it fair and pay back. A court struck this down. Now, obviously, if an insurance company needs more money on the exchanges, the president had initially stopped that, had stopped paying for both subsidies and paying back extra money. And now the president, as an emergency, has just decided to start that up again. So the government's still going to help out insurance companies on the exchanges. It just won't be from this pool anymore where they ante it up. Now the FDA is doing something interesting. You know, the FDA, Federal Drug Administration, is always very suspicious of drugs that they don't approve, especially drugs just coming in from Europe. But under the president's direction, the Center for the CMS, the Center for Medicaid Services and Medicare Services, is looking to purchase cheaper drugs overseas, even if the FDA hasn't approved them. So the president has a, and I think rightfully so, is trying very hard to find a cheaper way for us to buy our medicines, which are a huge part of our insurance costs, especially with out-of-pocket spending. So the FDA is turning its head the other way and is really allowing the president's cabinet to go and look for a cheaper way to get us drugs. Now, Vox News says that President Trump has temporarily gotten some big drug companies like Pfizer to not raise their prices. But, you know, the Pfizer CEO themselves said this is only temporary, and if the president can't find a cheaper way for us to make a living and to get drug prices down as well, that they're going to go ahead and raise their drugs. Modern Healthcare also adds to this and says that only 1/2 of the top 100 drugs are actually off patent and available for cheaper generics. So basically, I think what's going to happen is that drug prices are going to continue to go up. The real battle here, and try to see if you can follow this, is not with the drug companies so much themselves, although it is, because drugs are expensive and generic alternatives sometimes are just as expensive too. But I think the real problem is they're trying to get around the benefit managers. There's a couple very large, huge national and international benefit management companies who are in between the drug companies and the insurance companies, working out deals for purchasing drugs for their patients. And the deals are that the benefit managers will take a kickback themselves if they can get a cheaper price on the drug for the insurance companies. And this middleman stuff leaves the patient frequently in trouble, because if the drug, so the insurance company is paying less for the drug, they're only willing to pay so much, but that still may leave the patient with a large out-of-pocket cost. So the president is trying very hard to make it so that we no longer have to deal with these middle management companies. This is a huge part of the American society, and I don't know if that's going to happen. The Hill says that insurance companies are no longer counting your copayment towards insurance deductibles. So if a drug is no longer covered, you're going to have to pay the whole expense of the drug because it won't go towards your deductible. Whereas before, if your copays at least went to the deductible, then if you had to pay for the drug, your deductible would have been met, but that's no longer happening. Politico says that President Trump has signed into law non-FDA approved life-saving drugs, and that was a big debate in Congress, but that's good. In other words, if a drug was needed but not approved yet by the FDA as a last resort measure for patients who are dying of a very severe illness, they can at least try these drugs and give them a chance. Washington Times says the House repeals the tax on medical devices, and this is great. This is something we've looked for a long time. This tax was already on hold until 2019, but it's unclear whether the Senate will take up the House's bill, so we're not really sure what's happening with that.
Waxed-In is a full-body unisex studio. We specialize in hard wax, which is gentler on the skin. We do all types of waxing from head to toe. You can come in with your friends, so you have the moral support. We have hors d'oeuvres. You do have to have a minimum of 8 people for that party, and you would schedule that. Everybody's looking for a hand to hold and then someone to share the experience with, so you can look that up on our website. We have prenatal waxing. We take a little bit more time with the new moms, and a lot of people will schedule that once they hit their second trimester. We do have a waxing membership. It's set up just like a gym membership. It's for Brazilians. It's $45 a month, and you come in just like you would go to the gym. It comes out automatically, and you just show up for your wax. We have several memberships for different services. We also have wax packages. The phone number is 973-542-8442. The website is www.thewaxden.com. We have 24-hour online booking.
Come to the Wax Den. We wax it all.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Burke.
And I'm Gina Unger.
Gina has known Dr. Berry in a professional and personal capacity for many years, and we are thrilled to be in his building. We are psychotherapists, and we offer mental health counseling for ages 12 and up. We do individual, couples, and family counseling. We're also excited to say that we have groups that we have for teenage boys and girls, for social skills, anger management, and self-esteem building. If you need to reach us,
check us out at lifeworksnj.com.
Our phone numbers are also listed on that website if you'd like to contact us. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to other healthcare news. Let's talk about recalls. We have a lot of recalls. We're still in a lot of trouble with food poisoning in this country. The Washington Post says that romaine lettuce, that for months now, since the early spring, had E. coli, and we were all told don't buy any lettuce. There were 5 deaths, 27 kidney failures across the country. We're told that romaine lettuce is now okay, and that scare is now over. CBS News says that Del Monte prepackaged vegetables have cyclospora. Cyclospora is a parasite, makes you extremely ill. So they're really recommending no prepackaged vegetables, no sliced fruits. The sliced fruits, the melons, I'm sorry, no sliced melons, honeydew melon, cantaloupe, watermelon. Buy them whole. Don't buy them sliced. The sliced ones were all infected. Fox News says that raw turkeys are in a big trouble with salmonella. McDonald's salads, according to the USDA Today, that has cyclospora. And it's interesting that we found that there may be a source to some of this, that from a certain area of the country, they didn't know at first, but now they think they found the source to all these infections with this prepackaged salads. CBS News says that the Venezuela has infected crabs that they're selling all up and down our East Coast with Vibrio parahemolyticus. This makes you extremely ill. I can tell you that it's very painful. I've seen this extremely ill with bloody diarrhea, high fever. And so please be careful in eating these crabs, and make sure they're well cooked. And if you're at a restaurant, make sure they didn't come from Venezuela. CBS News says that a man has died from eating raw oysters in Florida. This is another type of Vibrio, Vibrio fulnificans. This is the same Vibrio that if you have a cut on your skin or a tattoo or something, and you're either fishing or you're handling shellfish, or especially in the Gulf areas, in the Gulf of Mexico, this Vibrio will get into your skin, give you blood poisoning, and kill you. And these Vibrios this is the same Vibrio that causes cholera, by the way. It's a very, very, very strong germ. So whether it's crabs or oysters, please be careful. CNN, like I said before, Cato Foods had been the one packaging those sliced melons, and we mentioned that. And let's see, this is interesting. CBS News, this is going to really blow you away. There's a company that had contaminated the whey protein. Whey is a milk protein. And you may not realize it, but just like lactose is a filler in a lot of food things, the whey protein of milk is used too. So we're talking Ritz crackers, Pepperidge Farm goldfish, Flowers Foods Swiss rolls, Kellogg's Honey Smack cereal, even Hungry Man Chipotle barbecue sauce boneless chicken. This whey protein that was used in the preparation or packaging has all contaminated these, and there's been recalls on all these ones mentioned, and I think some of this may be up on your screen. Okay, let's continue. CNN has said that the Canadian raw oysters in California have norovirus. The oysters in California themselves are infected with a very infectious virus that can make you very sick with gastroenteritis. CBS says that mussels in Seattle have the narcotics opioids in them. So you're eating mussels and I guess feeling good about it. CBC says that armadillo meat, for anybody out there eating armadillo meat, in Brazil and even in our Southwest, I've seen armadillos actually. I just didn't know people actually ate them, will get leprosy. So leprosy, that old ancient, we have it even today, where your skin, changes and, you have leper colonies and you get deformed. Yeah, so probably not a good idea to eat armadillo meat. Let's see. ABC mentions that in a Tennessee resort, there was well water and with E. coli, and 500 people at the resort got terribly ill. Hey, the whole country's being poisoned. I mean, just please be careful. Prepackaged food, sliced food, anything at restaurants, eat it whole. Make sure you know where it's coming from. Make sure it's not recalled. You'll be fine. You just have to be careful. Okay, let's move on to measles. New Jersey Department of Health says that measles is back in South Jersey. We always get measles reports from time to time. NPR says that the ticks are now going out of their usual places where they normally find ticks. They did a big nationwide study. These ticks are spreading. And this whole next bunch of things I'm going to say relates to the ticks. Lyme disease spreading, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which actually killed a woman, according to CBS. The Lone Star tick has caused shock in 5,000 people who became allergic to red meat after eating this, according to the Washington Times. And Star Ledger says that a tick actually paralyzed a child until the mother saw the tick and removed it. Let's move on to some other things. CBC says that Japan has a new flu drug, which will be coming out next year, and it's only taken for 1 day, and that's always helpful. We've relied on the Hoffman-LaRoche drug for many years now because the other drugs were resistant, so it'll be good to get a new drug. Star Ledger says that, now this is scary, right here in West Orange in the town hall, I live in West Orange, somehow the water supply for the workers in the town hall, not West Orange itself, but within the town hall, their venting or water supply system had Legionnaire's disease. Fortunately, nobody got sick, I think so far, so they had to clean that out. So you never know where you're going to find Legionnaire's disease, so you have to be careful. According to Newsweek, West Nile virus is increasing across the country, so be careful. Use protection against mosquitoes. CDC says that Acinetobacter, which is a very, very tough drug, was found in 2 cases of people receiving platelet transfusions in 2 different states, so that was a problem. CBS says that California, the fires in California, like right now they're again in Northern California, they're actually, when they burn the poison oak, this poison oak goes into the air and people are getting airborne trouble breathing from the poison oak, as if you didn't have enough trouble in the fire. Washington Post, this is something good for you all to know. Colon cancer screening is starting younger now at 45 years of age because there's a lot more cases. Half of the cases of cancer in the colon are in people under 50. It's pretty scary. Star Ledger says that the autism rate in New Jersey is still high, 1 out of 34. I didn't realize it's that high, where the USA total is 1 out of 59. That seems kind of high, but New York Times says that FDA approves a new drug for smallpox. Well, hopefully we never have to use that. It's called Tecovirimat, and of course the government has stockpiled 2 million doses, but hopefully they'll never have to use that. All right, let's move on to health and safety tips. A few things that you might find useful being in the summertime. Let's go over beach warnings. Star Ledger says that Cape May has Portuguese man-of-wars on their beach. Boy. The CBS says that our beaches are contaminated with sea lice, which is jellyfish larva, makes you itch, diarrhea causing bacteria. I actually talked to a number of people who got terribly ill with E. coli from just being on the Jersey Shore. Fungus, staph causing skin infections, I've seen that, and even worms that get into your skin from cat and dog droppings. So just be careful on the beach. You know, make sure the beach is clean. You don't see any red tide or syringes or garbage or anything. Just be careful. And don't lie down in the beach sand unless the lifeguards have assured you that there's no sea lice or disease in there or cats or dogs around. Okay, this is interesting for all of us that travel that are going on airplanes. I honestly never thought about this, but airplane food warnings. This is according to Business Insider. They said you should know that eggs and fruit are prepared days ahead and often using substitutes, not the real egg or fruit. And they're spiced up and have added salt and fat so that you can't taste the fact that it's fake food. And good luck on that. And the Business Insider wants you to know that your coffee pot has probably not been washed out for a while. And when it's washed out, it uses the same water supply that comes from the bathroom. So be careful with that. Restaurant warnings. We all eat at restaurants during the summer. This is Food Network. Red flags. Red flags. If you walk into a restaurant and the floors are dirty, the tables are dirty, the utensils are dirty, and the bathrooms are dirty, red flag. If the waiter is sick or not dressed well. If there's flies or mouse droppings on your table. If the produce looks old. If the water tastes like sanitizer. Yucks. If food is served at the wrong temp. And if they don't take your allergies seriously about food when you try to tell them. Well, this is a scary thing. CBS says that beware of hot water in your garden hose if it's left out in the sun. In other words, if your hose is left out in the sun, normally the garden hose is cold water. It may be scalding hot. And be careful also of the temperature in the cars. Your car may get really, really hot. Oh, this is scary. CBS News says there's a venomous caterpillar in Florida called the southern flannel moth, and you can go into shock from being bit by this moth, by this caterpillar. Southern flannel moth, venomous caterpillar. Fox News says that Virginia has a giant hogweed that can give you third-degree burns from its sap. Boy. Okay, Associated Press, back to our water again. This is terrible. Our drinking water in America, increased levels of chemicals, and the chemicals are things used in fire-suppressing foam, non-stick pans, all the stuff used to make non-stick pans, chemicals used to make fast food wrappers, stain resistance, perfluoroalkyls, polyfluoroalkyl. This is disgusting. We're drinking all this stuff. Now get a load of this. National Geographic adds that the plastics, PCB and PAH, other nasty stuff, is found in fish. So fish are eating all our plastic. You know, there's a huge thing on now, if you've been following the news, get rid of straws, get rid of all the extra plastics. And I didn't realize, that the fish are eating it and we're eating the fish, and that's how we're getting it. Okay, let's see. Conversations US, that's a publication, says don't forget triclosan. That's in all our sanitizers. It was supposed to be banned in 2016. It's one of those things that gets rid of the germs. It sterilizes stuff. The chemical is still found in our toothpaste and our soaps, body wash, hand sanitizers, deodorants, mouthwash, detergents, cleansing supplies, and toys. Try close and figure it out, so try to read it on the label if you can. Oh boy, this is bad. Vox says that formaldehyde causes nose and throat cancer and leukemia, and formaldehyde is still in our floors, cars, furniture. It's in skin cosmetics. Yeah, I get a lot of patients I see that don't understand why they have these horrible skin reactions, just terrible. And the first thing I ask them is, have you changed your cosmetic? Do you know what's in it? Is it a regular brand name, or is it a fake or look-alike brand name? And they find that there's formaldehyde or other chemicals in the cosmetics they're putting on their skin. It's in plywood, fiberboard, particle board, etc. Now, just to top this off, the Academy of Pediatrics has said children should avoid bisphenols, and bisphenol A is found in aluminum soda cans, phthalates in plastic containers and bottles, and styrene. So we should all try to go more natural, but especially with children, these can be very poisonous. And avoid these and perchlorates that are in food packaging, as we mentioned, and nitrates and nitrites that are in preservatives. And the key is the label. They may not mention these chemicals, but label 7 refers to bisphenol A, label 3 to phthalates, and label 6 to styrene. Now let's get to finish up with some really other things that are interesting. They're a lot of fun. Food Network, I always like to close with a Food Network. And this one simply, it says, Americans don't eat enough potassium. And this is something we don't often think about. I get my banana every day, but potassium's in other foods as well. But we should have 4,700 milligrams of potassium every day. We eat too much sodium. We eat more than 4 grams, and we're supposed to have less than 2. But we should have over 4 grams of potassium, actually almost 5 grams, and most of us don't eat that. So here's just some quick listings. Fruits and vegetables, potassium levels. Remember, we want to get to a level close to 5, 4,700 milligrams, which is close to 5 grams. So Swiss chard has 960 milligrams. That's almost 1 gram in 1 cup. Lima beans, the same. Sweet potatoes, spinach about the same. Lentils a little less, 730. Avocados are a good source of potassium. Cantaloupe, about half of that. Asparagus and broccoli. So once again, Swiss chard, lima beans, sweet potato, spinach, lentils, avocado, cantaloupe, asparagus, and broccoli. Now, tuna fish also has potassium, as does salmon, and that's good. I try to eat salmon at least once a week. Now, here's a couple last things. This has nothing to do with potassium, but probiotics. What are good natural probiotics? We all know yogurt, but did you think about kimchi, kefir, tempeh, miso? I eat my miso soup, and sourdough as probiotics. And what are sources of prebiotics? Prebiotics are, remember, probiotics are actually what are introducing good, healthy milk bacteria into our gut to fight the pathogenic bacteria. The prebiotics are things we use to feed the healthy bacteria in our gut. So prebiotics, Jerusalem artichokes, green banana flour, raw garlic, honey, dandelion greens. Those are prebiotics that are good for you. Well, as always, I thank you for watching our program. I've enjoyed sharing this information with you. And please give us your responses. We'll mention it on our next show. And enjoy the rest of the summer, and I look forward to seeing you again.